We are here today with Dhritiman Mukherjee, one of the country's most well-known and most respected wildlife and nature photographers. Um, if you're watching this, you're probably already familiar with his body of work. So I'm not going to spend much time introducing him and talking about his work. Uh, but Dhritiman calls me up and all of us at Roundglass Sustain almost every day and badgers us relentlessly about with his thoughts and ideas on conservation, on photography, and life itself. So we thought, why not use this opportunity a little constructively and get him to chat with us about a subject that has been a topic of debate for a fair bit in the last few months, which is conservation photography. So welcome, Dhritiman, and thank you for agreeing to talk to us. And good to see you.
Hi, Megha. Good to see you too. The only thing is it becomes formal. So we talk a lot, but when it is formal, it becomes difficult for me. I want to give that disclaimer that whatever I'm going to share, it is my perspective, my thought, and which came from my last 20 years of working experiences. So whatever I realized, there was lots of evolution in thought. So at present, what I'm sharing, this is the present state of mind.
Let's get started. So my first question to you is, what is conservation? And why is conservation essential at this point in time?
Okay, so to answer this question, actually, I have to share some basic things. What we all know that every species or every element of this ecosystem has a role. So, and if we distort any situation, if we create an imbalance, it will actually impact us. Impact of losing any species or losing any habitat, it comes later. It's not an immediate effect. For example, if there is no tiger on earth, what will be our loss? If we need to understand the loss, we need to take like 50 steps. Like if we put our finger in the fire, it's a, I mean, immediately you can feel the heat, na? And you can take out your finger. But if you take out the tiger from the ecosystem, the impact will come much later or indirectly. And the second very important reason, which is true for not only for this environmental issues, for other things also, that we can't price the intangible things. Intangible things, like just for an example, like we don't know the price of love or trust. These are intangible things. Also some materials like tree. What is the value of a tree? Value of presence of a tree or a wetland. For an example, if you cut the forest and making making a housing society in the forest, and you are feeling okay, so that will bring say 500 crore, but the land, the forest you are losing, what is the value of the forest? So if you know to calculate the value of the forest, then you will only feel that actually you are not making 500 crore. Actually, you are losing maybe like 1,000 crores, because to create that forest, like thousands of crores will not be enough. Now this debate was going on regarding this dam in Arunachal. So we are what politicians and local people, or I mean major people, what they are thinking. They are thinking that the dam the dam will create electricity and it is equivalent to lot of money, but the habitat we are losing, how much we are losing, we don't know actually. Like you cut a forest and you do a plantation, it's not a substitute, it's not an equivalent substitute, because plantation is not an ecosystem. It takes time, like hundreds of years to a plantation area will become a forest. So what is the price of the time? You forget about the time.
Actually, to put price tags to each of these things, because that is the only language we understand.
Exactly, then we can compare.
How does photography really fit into all of this? What do you think is the role that photography can play and should play in the scheme of everything that you've just told?
I mean, you can easily realize the photos or visuals, actually, I mean, photos, videos, they are the easiest way of the strongest tool to communicate with the people, because it is very quick. So moment you see a photo, it builds a relation. So if I tell you that narpa seals are in problem, what do you feel actually? Because you walked on this narpa seal, you, I mean, no, but in most cases, most people, what will happen, they can't relate. This word will be alien for them, like they can't connect what is that. So so but if I tell you about the, think about a tiger, the people easily can relate with that, because they have seen a lot of documentaries, movies, and photos, because tiger is popularized actually. So that is the strength of the visuals. So you can connect with that, but you can't feel anything about narpa. Now I'm just showing you a few images, just to see. These are adult narpa seals. So they are the only freshwater seals exist in the on Earth, and they live in uh, Lake Baikal. And you can see this is during winter when the entire Baikal lake is frozen. These adult seals, they are basically basking in the sun. And in Russia, there is a permission of seal hunting also. So they are hunted. That's why they are very much shy. And if you tell people that narco seals are in problem and we should take action on it, they cannot relate anything if they don't know about it. Now, when I show the image, now you have a connection. Maybe you are connected with this animal, with the landscape, or maybe this is a baby narpa seal. You can say, oh, this is so cute. So these are emotional connections. That is the first step of connecting the natural world. So here you can see this is a air bubble where the reflection is happening. This is under the ice. The air actually came from our cylinder. We were diving, and the air came and stuck in the roof of the ice, frozen ice bed, and the reflection is happening, and this seal is going to breathe from that air. This is so amazing. So these are triggering issues which will build a connections. Maybe it's emotional, maybe it's the knowing something, surprises. And if you get interest, then you try to know more about it. Then awareness happens. And when responsibility adds with awareness, it becomes a consciousness. The photo can initiate that to become a conscious citizen, so you can take part in action. What is the main goal? Main goal is to connect more and more people with the natural world, so that we can create a huge lobby in favor of the species and the habitat. This image of tarantula, when I posted in the social media, so a lot of people actually mailed me or asked me questions, that they actually got surprised that India has tarantula, because there is no movie or not much visual things are made on tarantula, or it is not available in TV or social media. So people didn't know that tarantulas are found in India. They had some perception like they are only in Amazon or something like that. And that way we can spread like India is not only about some big animals. We have a lot of smaller forms, a lot of other things. So with the help of photos, actually we can build up awareness among the mass. Photo also gives scientific informations. So it is not only connecting the mass, it is also providing informations to the already connected people or scientific community, because these are new informations. So this is an example where you can see this desert fox actually gave. You can see that one pup is having a chick, baby bird, and yeah. So this is actually, I had no idea. So I was working on this for desert fox for a long time. This photo is from 2010 in Run of Kutch, and there was a nest of hoopoe, and the nest is like, it's a deserted area, so they do ground nest. And this was a camera trap photo, and I was far from this den, sitting in a car. So that nest was close to my place where I was waiting, and suddenly I saw that hoopoe, that mother hoopoe was sitting there. There was a small tree. I saw that hoopoe was sitting on the tree. which is very much unnatural. Generally, hoopoe are they are ground dweller, or mostly they are flying or foraging on the ground on the desert. They don't sit on tree generally, and it was looking like a bit stressed. So I was thinking, what happened? I mean, why it is sitting on the tree? So when I saw the photo, so it gave a lot of answer to me. Like, I didn't know that desert fox actually feed on hoopoe chick. So that hoopoe, which I saw restless, actually that was the mother hoopoe. So her chick was actually killed by this mother fox and taken for the pups. So this is answer to so many questions. This is a photo from Lake Baikal. You can see this is also the frozen the surface of Baikal Lake, and some crustaceans are stuck in the ice. I don't know why they are stuck in the ice and what they're doing, and they all are alive. So now I can send this photo to the experts. This is a photo which actually triggers me to ask a question which will give us a new knowledge. So photo does that. It's a very important thing. I mean, sometimes it's not like all of what I'm talking about the different purpose a photo can serve. I give some more example about the issues. I mean, with the help of photos, we can bring the issues in front of common people as well as the policymakers. It is very important to, just for an example, see this photo. This is a road going through, what is the division of Rajaji National Park, and a canal is going through the forest also. Maybe if we, divert this road out of the forest, uh, it could actually save lot of road kills. Lot of road kills happen here every day because animals regularly cross and they're killed by the vehicles, and there is an impact of the presence of the vehicle also. And that canal actually, when we made the canal, there is no underpass or overpass. All the slope is so steep. Like you can see the same canal, actually elephants only can cross the canal through the staircase. You see the mother elephant is pushing the baby. Actually, they came here in the canal to drink water. They couldn't climb this slope except through the staircase. So this canal actually divided the forest. So no animal can come from that side to this side. We are struggling to make a continuous forest, like one forest. So we are crying for the corridors. And here, deliberately, we are dividing the forest.
This was great. And what is really interesting is the variety in the choice of images that you showed us, and which makes me wonder because you showed us different kinds of pictures. There were pictures of roadkill, there were pictures of linear incursions into forests, but there were also pictures that were very beautiful imagery, right? Which brings me to our next question, which is that do pretty pictures, beautiful images, do they qualify as conservation photography? Or does it have to be more issue-based for it to really fall into the category of what we traditionally call conservation photography?
If you consider like there are mass, like common people, and there are scientific community, there are connected people. Some people are connected who are like they already know about this natural world. So if you think about this disconnected people, this number is huge, and they are common people. And so if I told you, if because they are disconnected, if you show them some issue-based photo, like some poaching photos or some the habitat destruction photos, it will work less on them if they are not inspired by the natural world earlier. Like if you inspire them first, like with beautiful pictures, they get to know, wow, so these beautiful stuffs are like they're on earth. So when they get connection with the natural world, the participant of natural world, and then if you show the issue-based picture, then only it will make an impact on them. So in my opinion, the pretty pictures actually work best with the common people if you talk about the connections. But why the confusion is happening? Confusion is happening because we are doing some mistakes. What mistakes? we show our photographs to the photographers, naturalist, or scientific community only. Am I mean, did I show my image to any, say, my next door grocery shop owner ever, or a traffic police standing there? Like, there are different people, and we are not showing the images to the disconnected people. The photos are actually rotating among the disconnected people only. It's like a echo chamber, so they are not coming out.
You're saying that the kind of issue-based images that we traditionally associate with conservation photography largely caters to people who are already connected, caters to conservationists, what you're calling rightly an echo chamber of people who are already invested in wildlife. Spread out a little further and be more inclusive. These pretty pictures are very important.
It's like a two-way progress. Like, we are making a mass lobby who are inspired by the natural world, and where we are trying to do it with our photographs. We are trying to inspire them. So there should be an inspired mass, also inspired policymakers. So like, if someone saw a photo, that also helps. It is not like everyone needs to act on it. If someone is not objecting one action, like you are doing some action in favor of wildlife, and mass is not objecting because they are already inspired by it, so that is also a help. Otherwise, mass will think that you are that the people connected with conservation, they are actually against the development, they are stopping the development. And we have to remember, as a conservation photographer, what I try to remember, it is not about the photo. There is nothing called conservation photography. It is photography for conservation.
Connected question to what you're saying, because you are, on multiple occasions you have spoken about purpose in this answer. So you're basically saying that the purpose of why we click the picture is very important. But you also said another thing, and I'm going to connect those 2 points, which is you said that, who are we showing these pictures to? Right? Do we ever show our pictures to, our neighborhood grocer, or, somebody who works for us, or something like that? Or are we just catering to photographers? So I want to take this a little further and ask you, so let's assume I, or somebody who's not connected with wildlife at all, goes into a jungle, and let's say clicks the picture of a lion-tailed macaque, or, and puts up the picture on Facebook, or shows that picture to my friend. Do you think that is also, in your opinion, photography for conservation?
Absolutely. If you take a photo with even a mobile phone, from the forest, and if you show it to your, like, any odd people, like some people who work in your garden, for example, if you show the photo to them, so you actually add one pupil in the lobby, because the moment you show the photo, they will get a connection, some kind of connection. So they will think, oh, so we have this thing, so this is so nice, or maybe some kind of thought will provoked by the image. No? I mean, like, what I believe, our duty is not to draw the conclusion. For me, especially, I am not an expert on everything. So what I do, I go in the field, I take photos, and I share it, and I think that which photo, what to share which photo actually. So this is a very, I will just give you one example now. So this is a photo of Himalayan bullfrog, or pa. These frogs have some medicinal values according to the local people. Now, if you have not seen this image, if I tell you that pa has some problem, or Himalayan bullfrog has some problem, you can't feel anything. Now I have shown, you are a common people and you have seen this image. So now you can feel, oh, this is a frog, but it looks nice. It lives in a nice environment. So some connection happens. When moment you are connected emotionally, it creates the empathy. Now I have connected you. Now I will show you the problems. Now you can feel, oh shit, that was a nice individual and it is killed. So some local actually killed this frog with the for the medicines. So this photo is for you as well as the policymaker also. So if I can connect the policymakers, so first I try to inspire them with this image, and then I will show them now see the situation. Then they will act. So it's a step-by-step work.
So it's really interesting what you say, because at one point you talk about in a sense, democratization of photography, where you're saying that everybody, with a mobile phone is a photographer, and can do photography for conservation. But this also brings me to another aspect that, we've been struggling with, which is that photography, wildlife photography particularly, has been something that has gained immense popularity over the last decade or so, and everybody has an SLR, and everybody, is a photographer. This also means two things. There is sometimes intense pressure on a habitat or on species, because there are so many photographers who, want to take pictures of that particular species or habitat. Then there is also the other thing, which is that it has become a field of intense competition, in the traditional sense of the term. And people feel like they must take unique shots, better shots, to be able to make a name for themselves. And as a consequence of which, there are compromises that are made. So where is the balance between doing the right thing and, practicing your craft as a photographer?
You have to understand that photography is not mathematical thing. You cannot compare two photographs. It's very much subjective. You cannot compare two photographs. All photos are important. They are unique some way or other. I mean, it is obvious. I mean, there is no doubt about it. So then, if you cannot compare two photographs, then you can't compare the photographers also. That means what we can do, we can contribute either in the natural history, we can contribute for science, and definitely we can contribute for the visuals things also, the same subject but new kind of visuals which we have not seen. Maybe the same tiger photo, but it's the way of showing should be different. So the right word according to me is new photos. It's not good or bad. We go for new photo. When your purpose changes, now you are not going out to be the best. Now you are going out to contribute. So now you are not there where a lot of people are there. So, and you start thinking in favor of the ecosystem. When I take a photo, what happens actually? So it has a one planning part, one dreaming part, planning part. Then I go in the field, then I wait, and then I see through the camera, then I click photos, then I publish, then I get money. So these are stages in the entire process. So I need to teach my mind the which stage is most important for me. Like for me, being in the field is the most important part. When I am in the field, I feel my job is done, because other part is either automatic outcome or it happens in a process. And if I make the preference with the other parts, I believe it will bring a lot of baggages. Like if I love the money to get, there is a chance of like being unhappy. I don't want to be unhappy, so I always like to be happy. So I set my target is to be there in the field. Like when I'm in the field, I feel okay, this trip is successful. Whether I get or I don't get, it doesn't matter. So just like that. So this training of mind is very important.
I have to ask you this. I mean, you have clearly arrived at this understanding, at this deeper understanding of what photography should be and what you choose to practice right now. But I'm sure this has been a journey, and you haven't you've also had your moments when you felt like you must have a picture of this, of XYZ, and you have, pursued that.
When I started, it's not like I started for doing photography for conservation. It's not true. If I tell that, it's a lie.
So have you done things that you wouldn't do right now? Has that evolution happened?
Yeah, so I'm just coming to that point. So when I started, definitely it was like the good life. I can be in the forest. I can and thrill, which is now for me it's an unhealthy word. When I started, I came from for all these things, but slowly I realized that yeah, I am getting a lot of joy when I'm in the field. Life is lovely. There are on the only challenge was the financial challenge. There was no challenge. That is the only challenge. I mean, every photographer has, and I had more. But otherwise, it was beautiful. Then I realized, with enjoyment of myself, I also can contribute. So it's a it's an evolution process, and we must understand this evolution. And because situation changes, time changes, and you have to change your calls in every situations. And then I slowly realized why I was telling that thrill is a negative word. So thrill is a, it's a pinpointed pleasure, like it comes and it goes. When someone asks you for thrill, now it's like you are in a bad shape or bad situation, some shark is chasing you, which is actually tells some negativity about ourselves. So where these are our inner problem. No? So when we stuck into those things, uh, like something is chasing, we take photograph and we feel like, oh, this is a great photograph. So even I did it. I just can show you one example. Here, see this elephant photo. So this is long back in Corbett. So elephant is chasing me. So that time I thought, wow, I took a fantastic photo. But now I can feel this is a photo which talks about my bad deed. So it says that I was in its personal space. So the sometimes it happens. It is not like that always. It's a provoking situation. There are two aspects. First, if I tell this photo is a good photo, then lot many photographers will try it. So there will be a worse situations, like one elephant is chasing one guy in a, like, in 10 years. It's not a problem because it's a single incident. It has not significant impact. But if it is happening every day with the photographers, then it will have a measurable impact. So that's bad. So I'm talking about that taking the call, like something was right some years back and which is not right now, maybe it is. So we have to understand that evolution process, and we have to take the call. So this photo in other way also, it is talking about my ego. Why we think that thrilling photos actually that defines a photographer. Why interviewer ask about it? Because it shows the ability of a photographer bravery, or like it's an ego, kind of ego, that I can stand in front of a chasing shark or a chasing elephant. But on the other side, it is telling that you are not a right guy for the environment, who actually intrude into the personal space of that animal, and which is not respectful. I mean, so when definitely I did it, and when I understood and when I realized, I came out of it.
Also
Things actually.
acknowledge the evolution and the mistakes that you've made in the past. I think is a very important aspect of that journey that you've undertaken. Um, which really brings me to another question, which is on the same lines, and we've discussed this, innumerable number of times, which is the issue of ethics. And I know you have a particular peeve against that word. I want to know what you think about the ethics.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So I don't love this word ethics. It looks like someone imposing the word actually. So like you should do that. You shouldn't do that. So it's like that. I feel I want to replace this word with responsibility. It's not ethics. It's my responsibility, because I own the planet. I believe in ownership. As long as you don't own the planet, it's a very fundamental thing. I told from the beginning that you need to feel the need. Then only the relationship happens. So need means when you own the things. When I own the planet, like this habitat, all kind of geographical forms, all the species, all are mine. I am the owner. I am the owner of this planet and every participants of the uh, ecosystem. So when I own them, definitely I don't want to take a step which is actually against their existence. So I feel the ownership with responsibility is like that is for me. I mean, instead of ethics, I love to be responsible with ownership. I feel then the half the job is done. So for me, if I am confused, like if I feel like my deed may create some adverse actions, then the benefit of doubt always goes with the nature. So I will stop. I will not do the action. What I will do, I will study more, then I will come back. For example, there is a meadow. just consider, like, I was working, we did a photo story on Amboli. No? So in Amboli, there's meadow. So we sometimes we look for the frogs. But when we walk, over the meadow, we sometimes we stomp a lot of species. So if I'm not sure about it, if I'm not sure if some nest is there or some kind of life form is there which will be damaged by myself, then definitely I will take away myself from that, because that I feel that is the responsibility to develop. Definitely it never comes easily. It's a practicing thing. One needs to practice it. I need to practice it. We did a lot of wrong things. It is not like we are sharing some big talk and saying I do all these things. It's not true. But the moment I realize I did it wrong, it gives a immense pain. Like I am the responsible for the bad
The
thing.
two things that you spoke about that really stood out for me. One was about ownership and responsibility, how these two things are really important for us as people and as photographers to develop a sort of collective conscience. And the other thing that you said about, uh, whenever you're in doubt, it is always the natural world that gets the benefit of the doubt. And then you just remove yourself from that situation whenever there is any scope of uncertainty. I think they're both very, very important things that you've spoken about today. Um, but before I end, the session, I think it will be incomplete if you don't share some of your photographs with us. And I would love it if you could, maybe pick a selection of more issue-based pictures, because we've seen so many of your stunning imagery and the storytelling behind it, your thought process behind it. If you could take us through some of that, it would be wonderful.
Yeah. I also love to share those images because it will give you some idea, like how the I mean, sometimes you see the image, but it is telling some different stories. So narrative is also very important. So I just want to share something of that, and just I will give you some examples of different situations. So when we are out in the field, we need to keep our eyes on to point the situations, and if any adverse effect, like you can see here a pond heron. This is from Mongolajuri. It is stuck with a bottle. So this is the effect of this huge use of plastics close to the natural habitats. This guy is innocent. He is thinking that he is doing a good thing. I mean, he is feeding a Himalayan marmot. If you yell to this guy, that will not help. I think we need to spread the message, because he is thinking he is doing a good job because he is feeding a wild animal. That is in our culture, in Indian context. So for this kind of situation, policymaker can take some actions, like they can put some boards, or we can spread awareness with all these things. Like this is happens in everywhere. Like we feed monkeys, we feed deers. I mean, wherever we get scope actually. So that we think we are doing good, but we are actually doing a wrong thing. We are changing their behavior. In Assam, where you can see one leopard, this leopard was killed by public lynching, and one policeman actually cut the nails. Why? Because he also wants to keep the nails as a superstition, that because of which actually a lot of poaching happens now, the rhinos, tigers, because people think their nails, their horns will change their future. So these superstitions are everywhere, even in our the people who are actually supposed to maintain the law. This is Kaziranga National Park during monsoon. The Brahmaputra river is a very productive and dynamic river, and it has very wide course. Actually, the human being, we are sitting in the course of the river. The river has a like 20 kilometers wide course. During monsoon, that course fills up with the water, because it is their course. It is a dynamic river. It changes its course. It sometimes it flows from this side, sometimes it flows from that side, and this what we actually also flood. It is like a more water during the monsoon, which actually renewing the nutrient, actually making the land fertile. And when we see this, we think climate change. Maybe this flood is happening. It is not flood. This is a normal behavior of the river. The building is made in the river, actually in the course. You have to understand the problem. It is not the problem of the river. It's the problem of our action. flood is a fantastic thing actually in Brahmaputra. And if you see this park, national park, why it is located there? One side is Karbi Anglong, and another side is Brahmaputra. Kaziranga is in between. That means when the water comes in the forest, here you see the entire park is filled with water. That time the entire wildlife actually they used to move in the high elevation of Karbi Anglong. But what we did, we made a road in between Karbi Anglong and the Kaziranga main habitat. So this route actually cut their passage, what they used to use from long time. So this is the ideal setting, a very fertile river, a fantastic forest in between, and a high elevated, hilly area, which is used by the wild animal during the monsoon when the park is full of water. Now this road with full of vehicle and full of human being, that part that landscape, and you can see this conflict happens. This rhino is directionless. It is not finding its way, where to go, which side to go. Everywhere there was a mess. So these are the issues. Is not due to the nature, this is due to us. You can see this rhinos are actually roaming in the tea estate. Actually they're leaving their forest and trying to reach the highland because of the over rain. So we I mean, with the image, you can actually understand. Sometimes this is a very important image. Photography for conservation is a very, very, very sensitive and very responsible thing. Sometimes we use such photos as a conservation image, like we say tiger is disturbed. But here, you can see this is a photo of a. You can say it's a mismanagement photo of the tourism. Like tourism is not managed well. This photo is not showing tiger is disturbed. If this tiger is disturbed, it can go away from this place. It is because it is habituated, it's sitting there. So this photo is not describing the disturbance of tiger, rather it is showing it's a excess number of vehicles standing in a place. That means this is not a healthy or perfect tourism action. I am just giving you one kind of a photo story. I mean, like those are individual images. So this is when I was working in Chennai on a story about the scarcity of the water. So you can see we all know that last year that there was kind of drought and people were not getting drinking water. So you can see the pup here in the photo. They're actually collecting drinking water from the government water processing plant or some kind of tank. So there is no water to drink, but in 5 minutes of rain, the water stuck in the road. You can see. So this photo exactly when I was there working on this situation. So in one end, people are collecting for the drinking water. Another side, in 5 minutes rain, the water is gathering here. What is the actual problem here? So in most of the cities, we are engulfing the wetland. So in Chennai also there is a huge wetland, 90 square kilometer wetland called Pallikarnai wetland in center of the city. You can see this road is going through the wetland. So what that wetland used to do? So all the runoff water from the city, it used to come in the wetland, and it used to maintain the water table underground. So because we have already engulfed the wetland, the water is going to the sea through the canals or something. It is not actually reaching the water table. So water table actually went down. There is no open soil area in the city through where actually water can reach the underground. So we make everything concrete. And this wetland, you can see a nest of a coot with the chicks. Maybe next year there will be no space for their nest, because this wetland is also under construction. There are pillars which is about to which shows this wetland is also about to be occupied by the people. And I saw nest in this reed bed also. You can see the reed bed. Flats are coming. You can see the numbers. So this photo is just to convey what is the situation exactly there. And these are some of the photos I wanted to share. I mean, which can explain the issues around.
So thank you, Dhritiman. This was absolutely wonderful. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, your images, and spending time talking to us. Um,
And thank you for listening me actually. So I made it long, but lot of things left to say. I'm sure, and it is always.
that's
And
always,
again,
isn't it?
and again, I will definitely again I will say that I'm not an expert. So there will be mistakes. There will be lot of wrong things I have said. Just, I mean, to the audience who will be seeing this video, just ignore whatever I said wrong, and mm, uh, if they're enjoying whatever they feel right. So yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.